So hello everybody and welcome back to the 100 Creative Women and Girls of Keighley project. Now I know this is really disappointing that we all wanted to be together for the next stage of the process, but unfortunately due to the situation we're in, we're just not able to do that, and safety obviously is paramount for everyone. So this part of the project, there's three parts to this project as you know. So the first part we did via Zoom, which is where we discussed things. And then the next stage, which is what we're going to talk about in this video, is where you create your self-portrait. Now this could seem like a daunting task to do at home, but what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to literally take you through it step by step. We're going to talk about how you can go about it, give you some ideas like we discussed last time, and hopefully by the end of the video you'll feel completely confident to do that. I'm also going to show you some pictures that other people have done at home, just to give you some more inspiration. And then the final part of the project, which will be done in a few weeks' time, is when I get to come see you and we do some doorstep portraits, socially distanced obviously. So you should have seen some beautiful pictures just come up on the screen there, and they were taken on another project that somebody did, totally separate to this. But the idea of those images and show you them is to give some ideas about what you can do at home and how you can be creative. You know, this image, if it's planned out, could be absolutely wonderful and just as effective as if you made it in the studio with me by your side. Any image that is planned will be 10 times more successful than an image that is just a snap. It's always the way. So what we're going to do now is break down all different things that you need to think about before and then after taking your image, and then we will guide you through the process. So grab a pen and paper and let's get working on the steps. Okay, so number one is, and the main part of this picture is the subject. Okay, now obviously you are the subject. This is going to be your picture about your creativity. And when we say creativity, I don't want you to get kind of held back by that word and what it means. This could be a hobby that you have, it could be an activity that you do, it could be exercise, it could be baking. Whatever your way of relaxing and being creative is, that's what we want you to talk about, show in these photos. Okay, so first of all you need to think about what that is and whether it's going to be one item or several. So when we did our consultations, many of you had loads of different things that you were doing and you were like, oh, I don't know which one to choose, which is brilliant. So in this picture you might want to show more than one, and you may want to consider the creative task or element that you're doing. If you want a different one to be shown in the doorstep portrait that you do with me, and then a different one in this picture, or if you want to show the same one in both of them, or in both of them if you want to show several. So we could think about layering different things up in the images. It could be that you're going to do a portrait of yourself and you may be holding or wearing different items which represent the different creative things that you do. So if you're into baking, you may have a baking bowl with you. Inside your baking bowl there may be a book because you like reading, and then you may be wearing kind of like a swimming hat because you know, the rubber swimming hats, because you like doing outdoor swimming. And these could be your three elements which like show different creative things you do. It may be that you just want to do one thing and you're either going to hold an object or you're going to like act that out. So I know a lot of you are dancers, so it may be that you want to be shown like in a certain dance position. I don't know if this is a dance position. It could be yoga, this could be yoga, this could be yoga. I'm sure you know me better than me. But yeah, think about first of all what topic, creativity, activity you want to show in the picture, because that is your starting point. number 2 to consider is your location. Now obviously we are in lockdown, so none of us can go far, but it may be that you want to take your picture in your garden or in your yard, or you may have a park or some open space directly by your house that you can go to without breaking any rules, and you want to have your picture taken there. It may be that you want to have your picture taken in the house. Now the location, you can start thinking about what location is suitable based around what your subject was. So you've already decided what you want to show. So for example, if you want to show baking or cooking, then you may think, I want my picture taken in the kitchen. If you want to do makeup, because this is one of your skills and how you express yourself, you may want to take that picture in your bedroom because that's where you do your makeup. If you do outdoor swimming, you could, and I say that because I've just got into outdoor swimming and I love it, but if that's one of your creative things, it may be that you want to take a picture of you kind of lying under the water in the bath. Who knows, because it's water and you're not going to go take a picture of yourself in the stream. Although, you know, if that's your daily exercise, you can take a picture of yourself swimming outdoors. So your subject should help you decide where you want to take your portrait. Okay, and then once you know that location, you then need to think about the time of day. So if you're outside, you need to be thinking, you know, it gets dark around 5 o'clock now, although the days are getting longer. So what time of day is going to be the best for you? If you're inside, you're doing it in your kitchen, you may know that in the afternoon, the light in the kitchen is the best. So you want to take a picture in the afternoon. Or it might be, oh, I'm going to take it in my bedroom and the sun comes in the window in the morning, so I'm going to take my picture in the morning. So after we've figured out what we're going to take a picture of, you need to think about where you're going to take it and what time of day. So number 3 is a biggie, and that is the styling. Okay, so when I say styling, I mean like how do you want this picture to be taken? So do you want it to be an action shot? If you do, if your subject is something that involves movement, so it could be an exercise, it could be dance, it could be Tai Chi or things like that, then it may be that you want your picture to show you doing that. So it's going to be an action shot. So it's going to catch you in a certain position or a certain movement. Okay, now it could be, alternatively, you could just want to do like a straight head portrait where you're looking directly at the camera and you're either wearing or holding something that represents your activity. Now, if you remember when we looked during the consultations, we looked at other work, it doesn't have to have your face in it, okay? So if you want it to be the back of you, it could be the back of you. If you want it to just be your hands, which like you could write on your hands and hold them in front of your face. Or remember there was one that was the sole of someone's foot. There's all different parts. It could be like, you know, you've got your hand up here and there's something on your arm. I know somebody was making jewellery, so they might want to have their jewellery draped over their arm. So don't feel like you have to show your face if you don't want to. But you need to decide, am I going to do like a straight shot where I'm looking directly at the lens, or is this going to be some type of action shot that catches me in movement? The other thing to think about is if you don't want to kind of have your face in it, it could be silhouettes. Okay, now if you want to do a silhouette where you are completely in darkness and there is light around you, the easiest way to do that is to stand in front of a big window. So ideally, if you've got nets in your window, that's great because they act as a big flat diffusion for the light, that's great. But you can just stand in front of the window, I don't know if you can see me stand that, and then if you, the camera or the device that you use, which we're going to go into, will expose for the brightest point, which will put you in complete shadow. So this is the window, imagine the window's behind me and the light is coming through, I'm stood right in front of it, and all you're going to see is my silhouette in darkness and the bright light behind. Now that type of shot is really good if you're doing a pose, so I don't know if I wanted to do this or something like this, then the silhouette's great for that. So that's something to consider. So now you know what your subject is and where you're going to take it, consider what type of style you want your image to look like. Okay, it could look quite documentary where someone's just taken a picture of you doing the activity, or it could be very much you posing and looking at the camera. Okay, so they're the things that you need to think about next. Okay, so one thing as well that you might want to consider under the styling tab is if you want your image to be colour or black and white. Now this is a complete personal choice and it may be dictated by what your subject is. So if you are photographing, say for example flower arranging or your garden, then the colours are really important, so you definitely want a colour image. If you are doing something which is just a self-portrait of you holding an object, you may want to create quite maybe a moody or somber feel, or maybe more edgy, then you might want to go black and white. So you can decide this afterwards if you kind of take the picture and you think I'm going to see which it looks best in, but in some cases the colour in the image is really important. So you just need to have a think about that beforehand. So now we know what you want to take a picture of, where you're going to take a picture of it and how you want it to look. We get to the technical part of how do you now achieve that, okay? How do you take this picture? So firstly, the very first thing we need to think about is what device are you using, okay? Are you using a camera? Are you using a mobile phone? Are you using an iPad or Android device? It doesn't matter what you use, that's what you need to know, okay? This is about the picture, it's about you, it's not about what camera you've used or how you've achieved it, okay? So use whatever you can. Now obviously if you've got a camera and you've got a tripod, you can stick the camera on the tripod, you can put the timer on and you can take the picture yourself. If not, you're going to have to ask somebody to help you, so they're going to have to take the picture. So hopefully most of you are bubbled up with someone, or you've got someone that lives in the same household as you that can help you do this. So once you know what device you're going to use, the first thing to think about after that is light, okay? Light is going to be key to your image, okay? So you want as much light as you can, okay? You don't want a dark image. So you need to be thinking about, in your location, how can you get that light onto you? So if you are doing it at home, you want to be stood in front of the window. Unless you're doing the silhouette where you're going to stand with the window behind you, you always want to stand with the window in front of you. So that light is going to come on to your face and all over you and like light up the scene, okay? If you're outside, then you want to think about, you're probably going to be pretty lucky with the weather we've got now, that kind of a day where it's not really bright sunshine, because as beautiful as bright sunshine is, it creates really big shadows, and in a lot of pictures you can end up with half of you really lit up and half of you really dark. So at the moment, these kind of miserable grey overcast days, they're actually perfect for photography. So think about the light and how you're going to get that light onto you, okay? And make sure that when you take your picture, you've got lots of light in the scene. Okay, so the next thing to think about when we know that you've got enough light on you is focus. It's really important to get a sharp image. Unless you're choosing a blurry image because you want to catch yourself dancing and spinning around, so it's going to be blurry, that's fine. But unless there's a reason for it, we want really nice sharp images. So it's really important to make sure you get that focus nice and sharp and that you hold your camera still. So a really good way, if you're holding like an iPad, because you generally hold them like this at the side, it can be quite easy to wobble. Okay, so always back your arms into yourself and use yourself as a device to make yourself sturdy. Okay, don't try and hold it with your arms out, because if you look with your arms out, you're going to wobble. Whereas if you pull your arms back and hold them against your body, it's much easier to be firm. Okay, so if you're using a type of device where you're holding it like this, use yourself rigid, okay? Or you can lean on a table. So say your table's here, put your elbows on a table to hold it, okay? Use another like area to make yourself sturdy. If you're going to use a camera and you're holding it like this, if you want it landscape picture, or you're holding it this way, if you want like a portrait picture, again, don't just hold it like this, because you can guarantee someone's going to be like that and they're going to press it and you're going to get some shape in there, which will cause a blurred image. Okay, so again, hold the camera and like hold your arms back against yourself to make yourself nice and stable when you're looking at it. Okay, and these are the instructions you need to give the person who's taking your picture. Okay, so you make sure you say to them, okay, you need to hold it really firm or steady like this, or again, like I say, like knock yourself up against something like a desk edge or on top of a table to kind of make yourself really sturdy. You're basically turning yourself into an extension of that device and like a human tripod, so you can get it really sturdy. If you're using a camera and you've got a tripod, that's great, stick it on a tripod and then you'll get a really still image that way. Okay, we're nearly there. You're so close to having this completely sewn up on how you're going to do this. So the very last thing to think about is your composition from the point of view of how you're going to hold your device that takes the picture. So from this, I mean thinking about camera angles. So those of you that are slightly younger and very on trend, you will see people when they take their selfies now, they always go like this. Okay, and the camera is up high looking down because it's like a more flattering image. So you need to think about how you want to have the camera angle when you're taking the picture. So the way you hold it, apart from just being flattering, it can give perspective and create illusions of either something being bigger or smaller. So if you want to take a picture of yourself and you want to feel like you look really tall and kind of powerful, then you would have the camera lower down and shoot up at that person. So the camera angle is up, and then that will create this looking up angle and it will make the person kind of seem bigger. Okay, now if you want to do it where you're looking down, that's great, but it can be, that can almost sometimes make it look like you're peering down on someone. So if you wanted to kind of give the impression of somebody smaller, you can point the camera angle down. Okay, my number one advice would be, if you're taking pictures of somebody, always have the camera at the same level as the person. Okay, so I wouldn't usually take a picture of a child and be stood up and point my camera down at them, because it's going to make them look tiny. So I would say, if you're having your picture taken and you're sat down, have the person sat down opposite you with the device, okay, and be on the same level. Okay, so finally you've taken the picture, it's brilliant, you love it, but you might just want to tweak it a little bit and make a few edits to it. And the easiest way to do that, if you've taken your picture on a device, is you can either use the editing tools which come on the device. So like if it's a mobile phone, most of them now have really good built-in editing software, so you can lift some shadows and make them a little bit lighter, you can darken patches, you can even put colour toning on that to change the colour and things like that. So use those. If you've taken your picture on your camera, then you can put it on your computer and you can have some editing software on there. A lot of you might use Photoshop, but the main thing to think about is editing should only be there to kind of enhance your picture a little bit, okay? Don't go crazy with it. You want your picture to be about you, and if you followed all the instructions, you will have taken this wonderful picture. So great, give it a little bit of edit. It may be that it's colour and you want to turn it to black and white, or there's a few little tweaks you want to make, no problem, but just use the editing to enhance that picture that's already there. If you want to use a different app or something, which is application that's on your phone, ones that I would recommend is Snapseed. That's a really good app for tweaking with. It's really super simple. And then, as I say, you can get Photoshop Express, which should be free. But to be honest, I find that a bit faffy on like a device. I would definitely, like 90% of the images that I edit on my mobile phone, I just use the in-camera edits to kind of just tweak them. Okay? Okay, so how are you going to get these beautiful pictures to us? Well, I tell you how, there's different ways. You can email them to us. So if you have them on your computer or even straight from your device and you want to pop them in an email, that's great. And you can send them to the email that is admin, so that's ADMIN, admin at Keighley Creative, and you're a day wrong, admin at keighleycreative.org. Okay, so you can send an email to there, and what we want you to include when you send your picture is obviously the picture itself. If you could put your name on it. If it's a child's picture, like portrait, then maybe their age, and what group you were from. So I know we had some people from the Cliff Castle group, or some people that were from Keighley Library. So whichever group you were in, just make a note of that, please. And then if you want to give any information about your picture, about what you're doing, what your creativity is, how long you've been doing it, anything like that, that'd be really good, because I think in the future when we do the exhibition, it would be lovely to have a little bit of information next to the pictures, just saying about that person and their creative skill. So if you could send that information along with the picture, that would be perfect. Now, as I say, you can email it, or if you prefer, you could send it via a message with Instagram. So if you go onto the Keighley Creative Instagram page, and then you can do direct message, and you can attach a picture there, and you can just write a little bit of text. Also, if you want to use Facebook, again, you can go through Keighley Creative Facebook, or there's my own Facebook. You can go on to Keighley Photo Hub. That's like a group page, and you can send a message there. You can also message me through there. If you get stuck with any point of this, please message me. I am here to help you, okay? So you can, again, you can email me, or you can message me through Facebook, get in contact and say, oh, I'm just struggling with this, or I've had this idea but I don't know how to do it. Please feel free to contact me. I want to hear your ideas and I want to help you. So that's it. Hopefully you should now know how to take your picture, you're brimming with ideas, and then you know how to get them to us once you've done them. We cannot wait to see them, okay? I cannot wait to see all these beautiful portraits. I'm so excited about it. So please don't worry about any of this, enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing your picture soon. Bye bye.